opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show.
We're immature audiences. We're immature.
So, it's been a lot of shit going on, but some good stuff also. A lot more good information coming out. But say hi to everybody. Oh, hi, Rex. Welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight. And thank you, Tommy and Ruben.
Hello.
Hello.
The dog.
But last night during after hours, I had a Muslim apparently that hates that I'm a woman and that I was speaking out against taken over by Muslims or whatever and having to wear hijabs and all that stuff. So I ended up having to ban him from my channel. But he was a total douchebag. So
he wants C-jobs or her job?
Both.
He wants blowjobs.
Yeah, when you're a male Muslim, wherever or in your country or other places,
he wants a goat. No. He wants a goat job. A goat job.
A goat job too. They can do all that stuff. But let's see. Let's see who's in here. Let's see. Oh, this is Devil Flyer, and then it's Baby Girl. Hi there. Thank you for coming in. Hi, Lloyd. Christmas. Getting to be Christmas. I got my light up bells on.
Jiggle my balls at a time.
With their little bells. So it's like, oh, hello, Hardwick. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. But tonight, there was a few things that I wanted to say before I get started on giving out the Dickhead Award and all this, because this week I'm going to give one out. I finally found another person I think deserves it. But what I wanted to say was that for too long, many of us has lived under the illusion that politics was like a distant noise. We're not taking things serious. It's something that we didn't touch our daily lives, change the rhythm of our work days. We just assumed that if we just kept our head down, the world would remain the same, right? That's what people seem to act like. Well, that time of indifference is over now. At least that's how I see it. So I think it's time for us to stand up. We're at the crossroads in our nation's history, and you know what I mean? The very freedoms we took for granted are slipping through our fingers. And if we don't draw a line in the sand, we don't stand up for our towns and our cities, like I always say, and our states, everything we value could be lost. Simply because not enough of us stood up to fight for it.
We got to go to the polls.
Well, not just that. If we're not willing to stand up and fight for our own homes, we might as well hand over the keys and walk away, right? You see what I mean? The time for watching from the sidelines is past. Okay, even if you're a woman, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter if you're white or if you're black or if you're brown. Are you going to stand tall and fight for your future, or are you going to surrender? Basically, that's basically what I wanted to say, because I want people to think about it. How much is enough for you to get off your ass and start trying to do something, whether it's make flyers and pass them out, join a couple groups in your community to try to do things for your community, to do something, even if it's just sending emails or making a few phone calls. We got to do something, and we're all capable of doing something. I'm just tired of people sitting around bitching and moaning and not doing anything at all, not trying to lift a finger. Even if you just have a get together to make people laugh after having such a horrible week, at whatever it is they're doing, collecting notices or whatever you're doing to try to help others be able to do their jobs, then you're helping. See what I mean? So that's basically how I see things. Is there something in the chat I need to see? Is everybody ready for January 1st? It says government ID for signing into Google. Well, I already got a government ID. Are you talking about the special one to fly and stuff? Is that what he's talking about?
No, well, no, the idea that you have to provide your ID now to prove that you are who you are on January 1st. When you go and buy anything, because again, they're going to have tiers of age, and it's for your protection.
Oh, for kids. So the kids can't buy stuff.
The reason that again, you have to go back to Tree Rock. Here's what happened. Year 2000. When Al Gore lost, the Democrats Party went insane.
Hanging Chad.
What happened?
To what?
The hanging Chad in Florida.
Oh, the hanging.
Oh
Chad.
Yeah. That's when they broke. It broke them, and that's when they went after secretaries of state. So they control the majority that way now for the last 25 years. And they want, and Texas is special. They only have session every 2 years, so they can control the narrative this way, and they do it locally, the grassroots wise, to control what they can do, and they want to turn Texas blue. It's their goal. They needed to go blue, and they want to try
Florida or Texas. Then they've got you forever.
Yeah. And that's why they're
really trying harder,
and that's why they want Texas so bad. They're salivating over it.
Sure.
And the thing is that right now, I may move back.
So what does this have to do with the government ID? I mean, what? I mean, Texas is. I mean, I don't get the whole issue here. What Tree Rock's bringing up, I've not heard of this till now.
The issue, there's two issues. Number one is that it is going to be necessary moving forward into the new frontier, and we have to start to face that reality now. We can say we're not going to be part of it, or we can work within the system. We have to work within the system.
Can I say something about that real quick? Okay, well, I happen to know.
That's basically they're selling it that way.
Kids that were taken advantage of on games, okay, by older people. Okay, last spring I went to court and everything to support someone that was assaulted in my own family, a child. Not by someone they met online, but another person. So it does happen, though. And when you have a company that knowingly knows that people are doing stuff like that, picking up children, setting up rooms where they have fake people showering and, and they're asking all these questions. And then they can send porn to these kids through the chat groups and stuff on these sites. Well, somebody's got to do something.
It's like Utah's already doing this right now, where anything over 18-year-old content, they have to get porn or like that.
Yeah,
they have to sign in.
I get mad and I post up all the time because there's porn coming across my timeline on X. I'm an adult, so I can see porn, but I didn't sign up for X to see people having sex and TNA all day long. See what I mean? Exactly. If I want to see TNA, I'll go to the strip bar or I'll go get on my own porn channel. I don't have to watch other people do that on my timeline. I'm not paying for that. The reason I pay is so I can stream this show on X. I can stream other stuff that I'm doing on X. That's what I'm
sorry. I'm sorry. The way you said it, you said on my own porn channel.
I don't have a porn channel, but you know what I mean.
I know too. I know.
I want to be able to stream, and I don't want to have to look at other people's stuff. But if you want to look at it, you have the right to. If you're an adult, and
you can block that stuff out.
And go look at all the stuff you want. I have no problem with that.
You
But
can block that
honestly,
stuff out on X when they send it to
but
you.
I got a real ID so I could fly and I could go onto Air Force bases and military bases because I have military relatives and I want to see them and I don't have a problem because I have nothing to hide. Plus, I've been to other countries. I was born in Canada myself because my father was serving in the military and he was doing teaching people how to survive if they crashed in a plane, blah 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 blah. And he was lucky that he was able to take his wife and his kids while he was doing the training for 2 years or whatever. So and I got about this many pieces of paper stapled to my birth certificate. So it's a pain in the ass, but I have no problem with me having to prove who I am. Just like all these people walking over the border, just doing whatever they want and then sucking us dry. When we have people, veterans in the street without food and a place to live, screw that shit. I don't think one freaking penny of our tax dollars should go to anybody until our own people in our country that were born and raised here and our American citizens get what they need first, period.
Well, if you don't mind me interjecting, I think one of the bigger problems that we have with a lot of the ID, especially when they're pushing the digital ID, is we know a lot of these companies are not upfront in everything that they're doing with a lot of this information. And that's, I think, the biggest problem that we have a lot of this, because that's what it's all tied to.
Well, how can we make sure that when we do anything with these companies that we have some way to be protected, and if they do get what do you call it, breached? Is that what it's called? When that happens, that we're compensated for it.
Well, here's the only way. There's only two ways. There's three things that there's three major things that have to happen. Number one, there has to be a golden jubilee, and if you know what that is. Means they say, okay, we're going to wipe everyone's debt, and then it's gone, and then your house becomes a digital asset.
So like Nasera or something,
and everything becomes digital. But the rub is that to participate, you have to submit that you're now digital, and all cash is now gone. You're worthless, but then you have no debt. And you owe nothing to anybody. That's the golden jubilee payoff. And then once you agree to that, then you start all over again. It's a reset. It's a global reset. That's what we have to do. And then again, what I want to do with that knowledge is to say, yes, lead that charge. Let's do this golden jubilee and say that, okay, for at the beginning of whatever 2030, January 1st, 2020, all your debt will be cleared. You will owe nothing. Yes, correct. And then go back to the gold standards, and that's how we do it. Boom. But it's all going to be it will all be all gold will be global. Will be like a global. Will have to be held somewhere. It'll be all property. And then that's how you exchange money, and you can go
think
for
you're dreaming if you ever think we're going to go back to the gold standard.
You have to.
Well, there's not enough gold. There's not enough gold in the United States to even cover the economy
that's what I'm saying.
It is right now.
I'm saying it's gold with the digital and with the Jubilee on top of each other, and then that makes it resets it all. And then you have the crypto connection, where you have people like myself who understand, who can view all the transactions that are occurring. Because right now everything's going through the International Bank of Settlements and the International Monetary Fund. You can track it all. You can build an AI engine to see everything now, and I can build it. It's very, very easy to do it. I can build this. I know how to build the engine and watch this. I'm designing the system right now. This is not bullshit. This is for reality. I'm doing this. That's the way to do it. Number one.
Unfortunately, with a lot of digital ID, there's going to be all kinds of concessions. Like you're saying, if they're going to wipe the debt, that means there's a lot of things that you're going to wind up losing. And once you start making concessions, where does it stop? Because once they're able to tack on one kind of concession on you, you know it's not going to end. That they're just going to keep tacking on more and more and more.
They are, but then you have the way to audit the system to always see that the transactions are public, and everything is done with a digital. It's a fourth branch of the government.
Yeah, I want money to stay around as long as it possibly can.
But it can't.
There's autonomy in that.
No, wait. Wait. Listen. But the thing is that's the system, but the system is optional.
No, screw that. Yeah, they're going to really make it optional at first. Yeah,
no, because you can be. Because the analogy here is the Serenity.
The dream and reality are two different things, Ruben.
Just remember what Ronald Reagan said. Once they open the door a crack, they're going to push it wide open. Period.
I know,
so once
but
you say, okay, we'll test it out.
That's why you have some people who are like myself who can see the system and monitor it and then keep it clean. Again,
there's no way to keep it clean. There's no way to keep it clean whatsoever.
Yes,
I mean, you take the simplest things and laws that they passed. If anybody remembers the first time they started passing something as simple as seatbelt laws, they were never going to give you major fines. They were never going to put points against your license originally. Then all of a sudden they started giving out fines, but these are going to be low fines, and you're never going to get points on your license. And where did that eventually go? Because once again, whatever they say they're going to do is not what they're going to wind up doing in the end. So, I mean, if you trust that the government is going to be upfront and they're going to be truthful about everything they're going to wind up doing, I'm sorry, you're living in fantasy land.
I know they're not.
It's too massive to oversee.
But I know. But the thing is, I can concede. I know they're not going to, but I'm going to force them to do so. I'm going to show them the truth, and that's the other aspect of it. You brought it up, Tommy, where it's going to have, look at you. We can now have the ability to look at all of U.S. code and see the hypocrisy in the code, see the legal jargon that makes no sense. And we can instantaneously look at it and go, okay, correct everything grammatically correctly, fix all the errors in the code. We can correct the code of the United States so instantaneously like this and fix it. All the problems will be gone. We have the power now, but no one wants to press the button. I want to press the button, so I'm going to lead the charge to press the button to get this thing done. This is not bullshit here. I'm not bullshitting you all. I'm doing this for real.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, see what happens. I'm doing this.
It's a revolution.
No, it isn't truth. This is truth. Again, I've been planning this for a very, very long time now because I'm done with the bullshit. I am done with people having, X accounts and or chat rooms or wondering about what we're doing now, not doing anything. I'm doing it now. I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna go out there and get the job done. I'm Ben Franklin. I am disabled. I can't not walk anymore. The last 2 weeks for me have been living hell. I almost wanted to say I wanted to die. It was that much painful. And I regret to say that.
I know that feeling, Ruben. What my back with the degenerative disc.
Yeah.
Like it got so bad some days that I was literally hunched over like a 9-year-old and I couldn't move. But I mean, my biggest problem is once again when you're talking about government overseeing too many things like that. I mean, this is really how we got into this big mess that we're in right now. I mean, you look at the IRS. The IRS started during the Civil War, and it was basically to collect taxes to fund the war movement. And they never disbanded the IRS. They just kind of put it into a suspended animation for a while until they reactivated again. Like the IRS, what happens when a government entity gets too big and there's no true oversight over it anymore?
After 60th Amendment, 1871. And then they reactivated it at the Jekyll Island, the creature from Jekyll Island, of course, in 1913, when they took out their competition, the Titanic. Yeah, they sank the Titanic. That was their doing. So
funny how J.P. Morgan wasn't there.
Right. These nefarious motherfuckers have been doing shit a long time. We have to call them out on their shit now. Call me Alex Jones, call me whatever. The lighting is just right the way it's supposed to be right now. That's how it is.
95% of it is
I'm done with the bullshit.
Is
I'm
propaganda.
done with the bullshit. I know
95% is that they control the media and the narrative. Yeah. And there's some little bit of pushback, but you got to take control of that. And we can't even get these bastards off of the TVs, and get some replacements in there.
I agree with, most of what you guys are saying, but I wanted to bring up something that was something good that happened, because I try to do that at the beginning of the show. And I want to show something that still good things are still happening. Even though we have a press corps, basically, that says they just want to say F you to everyone and not tell you about anything good. So I want to share.
Negativity sells.
Yeah. So I want to share this with you. I don't know if any of you saw this. It says Sherry Unfiltered posted this. He's talking about Shaquille O'Neal. He said kids were playing basketball and a neighbor complained about the noise. Says Shaquille O'Neal heard about it and showed up days later with an officer to play and turn it into a moment those kids could never forget. So I want to share this with you because this kind of stuff doesn't happen enough, and people don't share good things like this enough for kids to have hope in the future that maybe one day, if they eat all their food and brush their teeth and take care of themselves, they might end up like their superhero or their all-star athlete when they grow up. So I want you guys to enjoy this. Here we go.
You guys ready? Yeah. You bring your good game? Which ones up wrong? You sure you can take them? You're pretty sure you can take these guys. That's not some other backup here.
Look at him, he's massive.
That's not some backup.
That guy's gigantic.
Well, look at him.
I've never.
How impressive!
It's weird. I've never seen him.
Never forget about this. They'll be the talk of the school.
Holy shit! I've never seen him in real. I've never seen him in real life like that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We need to see more of this and bring this back and make this something that happens more often. In our towns and in our states.
How tall is he? Like 7 something? What the hell?
I don't know.
He's roughly around 7. No, he's around 7 foot to 7'2", all depending on what stats go by. Because usually they take these guys stats with their shoes.
I don't know why I thought he was like 6'7" or 6'5" or like that. I didn't know he was 7. Whatever.
No, like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen back in the day. They were like right around 6'8" or so. And
yeah. So that's what I thought. But I didn't know Shaq was that much bigger. My God. Lord in heaven.
Well, yes, I do put that. I try to put that in every single show on Friday because many of my friends on X and lots of my platforms are military or ex-military. Because of me being an Air Force brat, I've always been involved in doing veteran things that if I can, like going to veteran halls and serving food or whatever, right? Are you okay, Ruben?
Yeah.
And I'm a big for the veterans. Okay. I'm all about it. I think they deserve to be taken care of by us because we are free because of where we live. Okay. And I always do that because I have many friends that have told me horror stories that they were right on the edge of the ledge and they called the number and it was busy or no one ever answered the phone. To me, that's heartbreaking. That should never happen. I have been woke up at 2:00 in the morning when I'm dead asleep, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, in the afternoon when I'm in the bathtub or whatever. And I try to answer the phone, especially if it's a certain person and I know that, they're in that realm. I do whatever I can to answer the phone. And if I don't, I try to immediately call them back and say, hey, what's going on? I was, out with the chickens or whatever was going on. And if more people would do that, because sometimes you just need someone to listen to you. That's all you need. You just want someone to listen to you, even though they know in their heart that you can't help them, that you can't change what's happening to them. All you can do is be there to listen to them. Knowing someone's there sometimes is enough at that moment in their life. And then they're able to get past that episode and things start looking brighter on the other side. And it really does. So just being there for people is important. But
so sometimes, Janet, it's even some of the simple, stupid things that most people would probably just kind of laugh at, like, okay, well, how's that positive? And like I've told you about when I do my damn toy show, I always try to keep that 100% positive. Let's have fun, because we see so much damn negativity on all the online platforms constantly, all the damn time. You got to be able to break out of that a little bit and have some fun and have some good stuff. And whether it's even doing something as simple as thanking the cashier when you're ringing out at a supermarket, because sometimes that can absolutely make somebody's day that's having like the shittiest day in the world. I mean, it's stupid little things that you don't think really matter much that sometimes really might matter to that person that's on the other side.
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing, I haven't done this in like 7 shit shows, but I think we have 2 winners tonight that I've chosen. And I'm going to give out this award to 2 different people, and I'm going to share
If you ever do an asshole award, Janet, I want to be the shoo-in for the first. Oh, please. Oh, please.
I don't have an asshole award. This is a massive dickhead award. And yes, guess what? A woman can win this award. So here is the first woman that's going to get this award. Her name is Ice Spice, okay? And I'm giving her the Massive Dickhead Award for showing up at a SpongeBob movie screening dressed like this. Okay, we were just talking about a second ago. Okay, yeah, I show cleavage when I'm talking about a certain movie because there's prostitutes about in it, or it's the, what was it? Amazon Women from Outer Space, you know, that kind of stuff. But my channel is set for adults, and so is Bruce's. So if someone tunes in, I'm not on Nickelodeon doing it. You know what I mean? But this is a SpongeBob SquarePants movie, and this is what this woman chose to wear to it. So watch this.
Mercy.
So what do you guys think? What would you do if you get your kid?
Why did they even let her in the building?
And you go in there to take your kids to see this, and this lady's prancing around because maybe she voiced a voice in it. Do you think this is appropriate attire? Even in today's era where we have transgenders and we have gay parades and all this kind of stuff, do you think this is appropriate to wear to a SpongeBob SquarePants movie premiere? I don't. I think it's bullshit. And if I were the people involved in this, I would be all over this person and tell her, don't ever show up at something like that again. And I want you to publicly apologize to all the parents and children that went to this event, period. That's what I would expect as a producer of person putting money in for this movie.
I still can't believe that you called her a woman. I mean, she's obviously a pig, like most of these Hollywood types.
Well, if you look at her, she's got boobies and she's wearing a thong. She's curvy like a woman. So to me, she looks like a woman, and she's dressed like a woman. Any child that goes in and sees her wearing a Kotex or whatever it is, they're going to think she's a woman. So that's why I'm saying
it's some dude.
Woman.
Well, no, I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying she's, I wouldn't be calling her a woman, because a woman usually to me is somebody that's a little bit more classy, like a lady. You know what I mean?
Well, yes.
You can be a female and just still be a trash bag hoe like her. So
yeah. So this was, I couldn't help myself. I said, oh my God, I've got to give her the Massive Dickhead Award when I saw this come across my timeline, because this really pissed me off as a mom. I was like, I was pissed off when I saw this. I would be so mad if I showed up and was walking in with my small child, or even my teenage daughter or son, with a woman standing there dressed like this promoting, and she's there to promote. See, she's promoting, but it ain't SpongeBob SquarePants. It's more like Snatch Pants or something. So the next person that I want to give the other award to is this person. So let me open it real quick. I'm sorry. I should have said, I wish I had one that said double or something like that, but I don't have anything like that. But this one is for constantly lying over and over and over again. And I'm so sick of it. And I can't wait to see this person finally publicly humiliated by charges being brought up or something, or being stripped of their powers and stuff like that. So we'll see. But this whole thing, I mean, you guys remember the Obamacare scam straight from the liar's mouth. So listen to this.
It will actually reduce the deficit by $4 trillion over the long term. Reducing the waste and inefficiency in Medicare and Medicaid will pay for most of this plan. It will slow the growth of healthcare costs for our families, our businesses, and our government. There will be a provision in this plan that requires us to come forward with more spending cuts if the savings we promised don't materialize.
Where are those spending cuts?
You see them all the time, Janet, and it's something I know about just because I'm on it, because my disabilities and everything. So Medicare, and I got to listen to these stupid ass Democrats freaking day after day, sometimes hour after hour, talking about Medicare for all, this, that, and the other thing, how great it is, how it saves people money. Let me tell you, I got a massive medical debt because of what Medicare doesn't pay, and then every year those freaking matter of fact, they're just going up again. They're raising them up by another, like, I forget what it is, like another $25 or something like that, $25 to $30. They're raising them up again, and even that doesn't even get to talk about the out of pocket costs that keep going up every single year too. So they sit there and talk about this saving money. Who is it saving money for? It's not saving money for like people like me and other people that are on the system. And
you know who they save money for? All the illegals that they are bringing over the border and just handing the money that should have been going to people like you and other people, veterans and other people, to help them pay their medical bills and their prescriptions and whatever else they needed, instead of spending it on millions of people that didn't put one dime into the system. See? Just think about it. Just think about the $800 million in one NGO that went out that Doge found, how much help that could have been just for 2 or 3 states. I mean, you got to remember, the state of Arkansas doesn't even have the same amount of people as just the city of New York. How many people do you think that could help in one state? A whole state of people that can't pay their bills because of medical problems.
Well, you know what I think would absolutely be hilarious, and I would love to see this happen. So for every single Democrat that's preaching the Medicare for all and how great it is, I think every last one of them should have any kind of medical benefits that they have stripped off them. They can't have any kind of subsidiaries or any kind of extra kind of medical coverage to cover the shit that Medicare doesn't cost, and they have to be forced on it for as long as they want to talk that game. Let's see how great they think it is then.
I think all Congress, all state representatives, every person in government should have to be on the same benefits as the people of the country and the military. Don't you think the quality would go up very quickly if that happened? I do.
Yeah, but there's a huge disconnect, as we know, for the people that wind up getting on these programs. And like, once again, it's not free. So for all the people that think, oh, well, that kind of stuff, like it's free. Well, I can't speak for Medicaid, but I can tell you Medicare is not free. You're paying for it. And if you try to get on state Medicaid, and I didn't realize, so if you have a job and for whatever reason, because my wife is in that situation after she lost her longtime job because, well, I'm not going to get into why she lost it. It's ridiculous. But when she wound up, the only thing she could find was a temporary job, and they don't offer benefits. So when she tried to get on Medicaid, they wanted to charge her something like $700 to $800 a month to get on Medicaid. So like most of these programs are not free for us, but like you're saying, they seem to be free for people that just walk in here. And like, and they want people to be quiet about this shit. And I'm not quiet about this. You've probably seen my ranting raving as war pig over there on Twitter. I just don't care because these people across the line, they're spitting in our faces, really.
The whole shutdown was because the Democrats were pissed that Trump said, no, I ain't giving any more money to the illegals. they didn't care about you not having enough money to pay your bills, but they shut down the government to keeping them with free money. That's what they were fighting for. See, that's what I don't understand, the disconnect of the people that keep voting for people who constantly push against them. They're not trying to fight for you. They're pushing you away. They're pushing you over the cliff. But yet they're still reaching out and voting ballots for these people that constantly do this to them.
That's because the level of intelligence and reading and comprehension in a lot of these people, the standard has lowered. And I know that people try to say, oh, well, people are so much smarter than they were. No, they're really not. Look at some of the dumb things that they do repeatedly. You know what that's called? That's called being psychotic. When you do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result and you don't get it, yeah, you're a psycho.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. But hopefully, if we can just keep doing what we're doing, little by little, chipping away at this giant block of ice that we're in the middle of, that we can start seeing some changes by the early in the spring, to hopefully start making a difference for people that deserve the money. You know what I'm saying? So here, I want to share this next thing I thought was really very interesting when I got to watch it. I think it's awesome. So here we go. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. He's talking about, his name is Brett Pike, and he says he's talking about when immigrants arrived at Ellis Island, assimilating into the American culture wasn't an option, it was required. But today, there are immigrants who literally burn American flags in the street. Why are we allowing our country to be destroyed by suicidal tolerance? And he's 100% right, because these people don't even try to assimilate. They come here, they never, 3 generations later, they're still not speaking English, stuff like that. And why should they? When you're handed everything you need, you don't have to go to school, you don't have to work, you don't have to do anything. You just sit back and enjoy the medical and all the benefits that are being paid for by people like us and Tommy that can't even pay his own bills. But every time he goes shopping or spends any money, guess what? Taxes come out of that to pay for these people to live free off of us. So I wanted to play this. I thought this guy was very smart, for it seems like he's very young.
When immigrants used to come to America, assimilating into our culture wasn't an option. It was a requirement. So if you wanted to work for Henry Ford, you would have to attend the Ford English School, where his students would be taught English and were permitted to speak English only. And they would study U.S. civics, U.S. history, the Constitution, democratic ideals, civic duties, to obey the law, and patriotism. He called it the Ford Americanization Program. And upon graduation, they would have a melting pot ceremony in which his employees would line up on the far side of this staircase in their native attire with native flags. They would then get changed and walk across this melting pot stage dressed as Americans and holding American flags to emerge on the other side, assimilated and welcomed into American culture. Because Henry Ford and Americans like him understood what a great place America was, that it was worth protecting. And what an amazing gift it was to offer citizenship to people from around the world. And that assimilation should be the bare minimum requirement for that gift. That if you want to come to America, you have to embrace America. And Henry Ford loved America and loved Americans. He's the reason we have a 40-hour work week. Because before Ford, people actually worked 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. And Ford shocked the industrial world when he started paying his employees $5 a day. The average everywhere else was $2.30. It was the equivalent of giving all of his employees a raise from $50,000 a year to $100,000 a year. And Ford started a trade school that was not only free, but he paid his students to attend. And this was the cutting edge of engineering and industry. After they graduated, everyone wanted to hire these kids. And Ford required that they graduate before they got their money, because he knew if he did that, they would have enough money to get themselves a house after graduation. And Ford hated usury, so he didn't charge interest on his cars. He just allowed customers to pay them off in installments, which is also why he was a fierce opponent of the Federal Reserve Bank. Here's what he said. The financial system has been turned over to the money changers, who have preyed upon the nation until they own it, body and soul. Now, why do you think we don't learn all that in school? Well, we learn it in my classes. And today's class is on Henry Ford. Check out my private homeschool community and my books on what it means to be an American, usury and the money system, fake news, entrepreneurship, and so much more. ClassicalLearner.com.
Yeah, I really like this kid. I thought he did a great job explaining all of that. And I shared the link in the chat. So if you're interested in seeing more from this young man, check him out, because I think he's on the right path for sure. For someone who actually cares and understands what's going on in our country about us being invaded. And one thing that chaps my ass big time, I know I go on these rants, but I can't help it. One thing that really pisses me off is when I hear some congressman or senator or other person in the government that's a dual citizen. Okay, look at me. During this whole COVID thing, I applied for my dual citizenship in Canada. You know why? Because I thought they were going to round me up and put me in a camp because I didn't get the jab. But then when I saw what they were doing to their own people in Canada, I said, fuck that shit. I'm better off with a gun on my front porch. So I just said, hell, I ain't doing it. So I really do believe you should pick one or the other, period. If you want to come to America, you have to forego whatever you had with ties with that other country. You have to swear an allegiance to the country that you go to. And if you hate America, go to China, go to Russia. I don't care where you go, but you shouldn't be able to speak for America anymore if you're there and you are not an employee of the government or our government or a military soldier. I really do believe that. As an Air Force brat, I really do think I just think that that's important to protect.
Well, when they become citizens, they do have to swear an oath, and I can speak on my family's behalf, because my grandfather is the first one from my father's side of the family that came over here, and he came over here as a small child, and he had to get a sponsor from another family member to be able to come over here because he came right from Hungary. One of the first things he had to do is he had to learn how to speak English. Now, this is a 12-year-old kid. He had to learn how to speak English. He had to prove that he would be some kind of worth eventually. He would be productive as a member of, American society, even as a child. This is just things that they normally would do back then. Of course, my grandfather wound up joining the Navy and, World War I, but yeah, that's something that was standard that they had to do, and they had to take the oath. And now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, well, we don't care about those things anymore. It's literally in the Constitution. If you cannot be a productive member of this society, if you are against the Constitution or against the laws of this land, it's time for you to get the hell out, because you're considered an enemy of this country. And there's way too many people that are sitting in Congress and the Senate that are completely disavowing that shit, and they're breaking their own oaths, and they should absolutely be tossed out of this country. As far as I'm concerned, they could be thrown on Bikini Atoll, dropped right in the middle of the Pacific. I don't care. They need to be gone.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
100%. What do you think about that, Rex?
Treason.
Yeah.
If they're not going to honor their oath of office, it's a swearing in an oath. It's a sacred duty. And if they're not going to perform, they need to be ousted. Of course, you got to have so many votes, I guess, or backbone. I don't know exactly how that's done, but they need to be expunged from the system. Yeah,
I wanted to say one thing about this post here. My great grandmother was raised on Indian reservation in Oklahoma, and she was Chickasaw. So, when I hear people come into spaces and rant and rave about how they deserve reparations, and I'm like, well, before you guys get a dime, I think the American Indians should get way more. So they all leave. They end up leaving because they don't want to have to compete against the American Indians. So if you want to shut them up, that's the best way to do it. Because I don't owe anybody anything. I never owned a slave, and nobody I know of. I had relatives when I went and looked up 5 generations back, and 7 on one side and 5 on the other. some of my relatives were slaves. So, how are they going to break that down? The only way to do that is through DNA and paperwork. Just because your skin color doesn't prove that you were a slave or owned by slaves at all in your back of your generation. So there were white slaves, believe it or not. A lot of people seem to forget about that, but I'll move on. The next thing I wanted to bring up, I thought was pretty interesting, because some of these aren't really long, videos or anything like that. It's just that it's whatever I feel is important for people to hear about, that maybe they haven't seen it, or they haven't heard about it or whatever. So I thought this was pretty interesting right here. So I didn't know how many of you guys have heard about this or not. It says RFK, I always do that, Jr. announced he signed a direct banning transgender surgeries for minors nationwide. So I want to share this, and it's him talking about it. And if you want to get it right straight from the horse's mouth. So here we go.
Doctors assume a solemn obligation to protect children. Yet doctors across the country now provide needless and irreversible sex-rejecting procedures that violate their sacred Hippocratic oath by endangering the very lives that they are sworn to safeguard. The American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, peddled the lie that chemical and surgical sex-rejecting procedures could be good for children who suffer from gender dysphoria. Mm-hmm. They betrayed the estimated 300,000 American youth ages 13 to 17, conditioned to believe that sex can be changed. They betrayed their Hippocratic oath to do no harm. So-called gender-affirming care has inflicted lasting physical and psychological damage on vulnerable young people. This is not medicine, it is malpractice. We're done with junk science driven by ideological pursuits, not the well-being of children. A peer-reviewed report published by the HHS Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health last month confirms that sex-rejecting procedures impose medical dangers and lasting harm on children who receive these interventions. So today we are taking 6 decisive actions, guided by gold standard science and the week 1 executive order from President Trump to protect children from chemical and surgical mutilation. This morning, I signed a declaration: sex-rejecting procedures are neither safe nor effective treatment for children with gender dysphoria.
That's awesome. It's sad that we had to mutilate so many children before we finally got somebody with common sense to finally speak out that could do something about it.
We didn't have to do that.
I know, but it's sad.
Yeah, I mean, this gender dysphoria. Come on, man.
Well, honestly, way back in the 1920s, I remember that was the first case I ever read about a person who was diagnosed with believing they wanted to kill themselves because they couldn't understand why they had the wrong body. Okay. And science, through the mind, basically real psychotherapy, came up with different things to help people, because it's very, very rare when you really have it. See, what these kids have is their teachers saying, oh, you can be a kitty. We'll put a litter box in here and you can poop in that. That's the problem. When you have counselors and teachers diagnosing children and making them think that they're the opposite gender or an animal or whatever the because it's just bullshit. So, but I know people. I did a couple shows right here on my channel. If you go back and look about it was gays against grooming type thing. I did a bunch of those things and it hurt my channel. I lost lots of people because of it. But unless you know somebody with that type of mental illness, it's wrong for you to judge them. Just because you have back problems, people can't see it. The only way they're going to know that you have a back problem is if you tell them. Right? So a person who has a mental problem, a real one that's been diagnosed by a psychiatrist before all this fucked up shit came about because of people that aren't psychiatrists pushing that, and then getting doctors, actual doctors that supposedly is supposed to do no harm, cutting up children's bodies. It's no different than what happens to women over in other countries where they cut off their female parts that make them enjoy sex, their clitoris.
Well, there needs to be good, I guess Janet, you would agree with me. There needs to be better oversight on how money is spent.
Yeah, and right now, I think we have a person that is trying to set this up by looking and analyzing things to help with these problems, just like what we just got. A child is not old enough to decide, I want to have sex. I want to get married.
Right.
I want to cut off my peewee. I want to cut my boobies off. They're not old enough. They're children. So when you let children do stuff like that, and then you take them to the doctor, and the doctor gives implants and give them breasts or cuts off their penis, that doctor should not be a doctor. That's child abuse. That's mental abuse. It's all the worst things you could possibly think of. And that person should go to prison.
And it's reinforcing all that's wrong. I mean, it's validating in a way, the way they feel, instead of trying to.
You can take pills and it can make you all cocky eyed and whatever else. Right. Okay. And mess you up for a short amount of time. But if you stop taking them and you go through a dry out period, your body can reheal itself. But when you take a little boy and you cut his testicles off, he's never going to become a man. He's never going to be able to be a father. Okay. Now he can adopt a kid, but he's never going to be able to have his own biological children. And who took that from him? A doctor that's supposed to do no harm. See what I mean? If you do that to a young girl and you take out her uterus, you cut off her clitoris, and you cut her breast off her way to feed her baby when she does ever have a baby, which she can't now because you mutilated her. That's no different than what they did, that Mangala did in any of those people. It's the same nasty shit. So we in our states and in our towns have to fight for the kids, because a child doesn't. When a 9-year-old is told, well, you're going to be my wife, okay, until she's in the bedroom being raped, basically, when she's too young to even understand what's going on with her body, she has no say in it. So you can't tell me that she made that decision, that she wanted it, that she was sexually turned on by him and wanted to have sex with her husband because they're married. That's bullshit. She's a freaking kid. And I don't, I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying some of this stuff, but this is my opinion. And I have the right to have my opinion, just like everybody else. But we have a person right now with RFK Jr. that's trying to save our country through our children. There are next generations that's going to take over when we're gone. Because how long do you think we're going to be around? 30 more years, 40 years, maybe? They'll be having children themselves by that time, if they don't commit suicide or they live long enough to be able to do those things. But it's up to us. We're it, people. We're all that's left. Because you can just look at some of these people in our government, and do you honestly believe they really give a shit about you or your kids? They don't. They could care less. Tomorrow they'll just have some other dumb schmuck that'll hand over their tax dollars. So, they don't. So that's what we have to get arm in arm and fight. We have to fight for what's left. We have to fight to change the laws and take back what is ours, which is our towns and our states. And the only way to do that is as of right now is through the lawfare that they have been constantly using for the last, 8 years? To try to stop the agenda that Trump was trying to save. It's trying to save our country. And all the people that went to the rallies and listened to all the things that they were saying and saw what was happening here, there, and everywhere are the ones that voted for Trump. And the reason we voted for Trump and we fought is because we all could see the same thing happening to our country. And we're it. So, the only thing I can see is us fighting and not giving up. And I don't get paid to do this. I'm not a monetized channel, but I do this because to me, it means something to me. This is my social life. This is what I do every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I spend doing stuff on my channel because this is what I do now. I don't have anything else to do. This is my life. But it's important to me that even if I just get one person a week to find out about something and ask me questions about how do I sign up to work the polls, or how can I find out more information about trafficked children, or blah, 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 whatever it is, I do the best I can to try to get information for them so that they can try to do something to help other people or even help themselves. So to me, that's most important. And if somebody comes to me and says, hey, we'll give you all this money if you'll do your show and do this, that, and the other, and they tell me, well, you can't talk about this anymore and you can't talk about that, then I'm going to say, forget it. It's not worth it to me. I'd rather raise my own chickens and eat my own eggs and stuff than go to the grocery store and buy the golden eggs simply because you could tell me what to do. So, I'm just like, I'm too stubborn. But, oh, well, that's just the way it is. But, okay, I'll pull up the next thing I had. I thought that you guys, sorry, my neck's itching again. I shouldn't have ate that bread this morning. It's making me itchy. Okay, let me make sure I got the right one here. Oh, I'm terrible with this. I can't see what it is. It's not letting me see it. So just give me 1 second. Okay, here's another one I thought was interesting. I don't know if you saw this, but it says a DOJ sues Georgia Secretary of State Raffensperger for voting records. Finally, some of the stuff that we've been hearing about year after year after year is finally going to go through the lawfare like we've been talking about. And this is why I constantly say that we have got to get our rest of our judges in. We got to get more conservative judges in there that actually rule by the letter of the law, instead of their point of view. Like, well, my point of view is that anyone can be a woman. So I'm going to rule that man dressed like a woman or with a woman's swimsuit on can swim against young girls. That's how stupid it is. It's either you're a woman or you're not, period. To me, there is no in between. And if you got a penis, you're not a woman. So you can't swim with the women, period. But I don't know. I just don't understand. But this is a good thing. I just wanted people to see that something good's happening. And I will share this link in the chat so you can go and read it, because it's a whole bunch of information on there. But it's for the state of Georgia. And I know a lot of people that are involved in trying to keep up with the Georgia stuff. So that's why this came across my timeline. And I want to make sure the chat has it. Does anybody want to say anything about them doing this finally, about the record, about the cheating and stuff, or not? Any of you? No?
Good.
Okay. Then I will stop sharing this one and then go to the next one. Sorry, I'm not very good at, for some reason, they never come up in the same order. I put them in order, I thought. And then when I go to get them, they're not in order. So I don't know why that happens. But let me see. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, I'm going to open this one, see if it's the right one or not. Okay, yeah. Okay, here's one where Laura Loomer went off on Tucker Carlson. Now, I haven't seen his speech yet. Supposedly, they're saying that Tucker's woke. He went woke at the TPUSA, attacking millions of Americans because they're Muslims. Is disgusting. So we'll see. I haven't seen this yet. Have you guys seen it?
No.
Okay, here we go. Sure what she was saying and why that was bad, because to me, I took it as you don't attack people because of their race or their religion. Okay, like we're seeing people being attacked and killed because they're not Muslims by Muslims. That's wrong too. You know what I mean? A white person killing a black person because they're black is wrong. I don't know any conservatives that think anything like that is good. You know what I mean? The only people I've seen that have made horrible comments about, I want to see them holding their child in their arms while they die and stuff like that, was coming from the left. I've never seen any of that stuff come from the right. Have any of you guys heard anyone on the right say stuff like that?
I haven't heard it say outright myself, but there's always those type of people on both sides of the fence. There always is, and to think that it doesn't happen, we'd have to be completely disconnected.
Yeah, but
from
does that
reality,
make Tucker? Does that make Tucker some woke piece of shit because he just?
I don't know if it makes him woke, but it definitely does make him a little bit blind to what's really going on in reality all around the world. Look, this isn't some new phenomenon. This has been happening for over 1,400 years that
Yes.
Islam has been around. There's no, there's really no sidestepping it. I mean, it's really built into the foundations of their. And I'm not going to call it a religion. It's a freaking cult. It was started by a freaking warmonger. I mean, to deny that reality, I think is being a little bit disingenuous.
Yeah.
Whatever point he's trying to make it, I could understand the underlying theme. He's saying don't attack somebody just because of their religion, but when their religion is literally telling you we're going to force our way into your homes, we're going to take over, you're going to pay the jizya tax, or you're going to be thrown out or killed. I mean, I think that's pretty freaking clear what they want. And for the ones that don't support that, that's fine and dandy. I'm sure that there are plenty of them that don't support that kind of shit. But for the most part, that's built into their tenets. So what do you want people to do? You want people to just turn a blind eye to that? I mean, it's kind of the same shit. Like, how long did they ignore Hitler and all the evil shit that he was doing before they finally woke up like, oh my God, this guy really is bad. No shit, Sherlock.
It seems the only time they intervene or want to intervene is when it happens to one of their own. That's the only time. It's okay for them to kill other people, out there or over there, and the poor folks or whatever, as long as they stay out of our neighborhood. Remember all the stink that was going on about bringing in plane loads and bus loads of people into the different states and dropping them off after they came over the border? Someone was paying for that. Well, then they turned around from Texas and sent a whole bus load up to, what was it? Martha's Vineyard. Remember? And they all went, oh my God, we got to get rid of them. We can't have them here. See, if they got pissed off and they were blaming Texas for it instead of saying, hey, your president's got the border wide open. We're trying to get, it turns into utter chaos because they only have tunnel vision. They only want to see their little area, and that's all they care about. They don't care about the hundreds of
what they care about, Janet, is that you comply. That you listen to them and you quit bucking the system. They want you to they don't want you to speak out about this stuff. They want you to, and when it comes to Tucker Carlson, I really haven't checked into it, but I do listen to someone that has been saying some things about Tucker Carlson in the last year, that he's sort of been bending over backwards for the Muslim faith, which, I don't have any disagreement with what he said there. Really didn't pay that much attention. It's like, that should be, I think we could be adequate to both, fair on all levels. I mean, I'm not here to say, like was said in the chat earlier by someone, get the Muslims out of the country. Well, I listen, the radical jihadists, yes, get them out. The militias and things like that. But if you can be Americanized and practice your religion, that's what we fought for. Even though I totally disagree with Islam, I disagree with Hindu, Buddha, whatever philosophies, because I'm a Christian. But you have the right to practice that in America, and I'll die for your right for that. But he's had some very anti-Semitic remarks of late, from what I hear of in the past year or two, and he's kind of went off the deep end. So it's more than this. You'd have to look into him.
Well, the thing is, it's like I said earlier, if they come in and they assimilate to American laws and they look up and respect the American flag and they respect the Constitution. They learn that. They learn about our Constitution. They understand the history of our country, and they want to come here to become Americans, right? I don't care what their religion is, because it doesn't affect me as a Christian, right? as long as they follow the laws like me, they drive the speed limit, they wear their seatbelt, their kids go to school, they pay their taxes, they buy a home, they, they're doing all the same things that every other person, that no matter what religion they are. Okay. It doesn't matter to me, because as long as they're following the law, they have the right to do that in America, the only country in the world that allows you to have all of those things. Okay. They're not going to have someone show up at your door and arrest you because you made a post on Facebook saying that this person did something or whatever, their name, or they don't like what they wore or whatever it is. And it's considered a hate crime in England. Okay. So we are lucky to have this country, and we need to fight to keep it that way, to keep our Constitution that protects all of us, the people that have come here from everywhere in the world. Right. Most of my relatives came from, half my relatives came from like Nova Scotia, and they assimilated into America, became Americans, and some stayed in Canada and they still mingle with each other, and then my mother's side of the family, they came from, some of them came from Europe, and they came here and they fell in love with a beautiful Indian woman and started a family. But they are Americans, and they raise their kids to respect the flag, say the Pledge of Allegiance, and all those things, just like any other person that wants to come here legally and go through the motions to become a citizen. I have no problem with them. I don't care what their religion is, because of what Hardwick had said about Shaquille O'Neal. No, I didn't know he was a Muslim, but honestly, he doesn't know I'm a Christian. So, it doesn't really matter. If you want to marry someone that's Catholic, everyone I know that married a Catholic had to convert to become a Catholic to marry the Catholic, because the Catholic demanded, well, if you want to marry me, you have to take my religion. So what's wrong with that, of doing that for our country? You know what I mean? If you want to come in our country and get the rewards of school and good jobs, a beautiful land to buy, build a house or whatever, and have a family, what's wrong with us saying, well, if you come here, you got to become American to buy all this stuff and invest and do this, that, and the other? I don't see what's wrong with that. People do it all the time with the different religions and things like that. But you can't go to another country and force them to accept your way of life. You have to assimilate, or you can't stay there, and you can't become a citizen. You can't buy stuff. So, to me, that's why America is what it is because we had so much diversity at the beginning, and they all sat around and decided what was the worst crap from each of our countries that we don't want here. They wrote the Constitution. That's how it looks to me. And look how good it's done for us. It's done so good until they started cutting holes in it and plastering stuff into it and making all these changes, and still trying to do that. So the system works if we all fight.
There was a time it works unless they're trying to overwhelm the system, and one way is immigration. And and I agree with Thickness out in that we need to suspend any immigration or tightly scrutinize it. If you have skills and you want to come over here and you want to study, if you want to add to, the American experience with your knowledge, then by all means. But if this just free for all, it should be very difficult to become an American citizen. And in those days, there was a time in American history where we suspended immigration for 10 years, Janet. And that was to give people time who had been the influx to Americanize and assimilate. And it's not I think we need to do that right now for a while. An incoming administration may turn that over, but for now, I think we need to put it on pause, and I think we have, to a certain degree, but it needs to be more stringent than ever. Citizenship shouldn't be just
I think that if Trump can figure out how to get it back to the way it was many years ago, when people had to do certain things to become an American citizen, and put it back that way, and keep our borders closed pretty tight until we can get all straightened out, I think we'll all have a chance to get things.
I don't want to go back. I don't want to look back. I want to tweak it and make it better.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, everybody's like, oh, let's go back to the good old days. Let's get on the gold standard. Let's do this. Let's do this. It's pie in the sky. I think we've got some intelligent people that can get together and make the system within the constitutional restrictions, less government, more, we the people.
Yeah, smaller government.
I think that's what I admire most about you, Janet, is that you preach we the people, standing up, we as American citizens.
Brat. My whole life, that's all I've seen.
Yeah,
I was raised on Air Force bases, so I didn't get to see the small towns and stuff until, like, if we were overseas, I didn't get to see my grandparents, but when we came back and we moved to Spokane, Washington, my mom loaded all of us in the car, took us straight to Oklahoma to see my grandparents and to ride horses and to hoe in gardens and pick peas and tomatoes and do things like that. So, from when we were little, we lived in Florida, we lived in Maine, we lived in, bunches of different states. So we got to see a lot of the country and see it from different angles. But most of the time when we lived in the States, we lived on a base. So just like I said, I didn't get to see the ugly rearing head of racism, because I had Black friends, I had Hispanic friends, I had Asian friends, all on the base. So they all treated each other like, oh, there was no big deal. Nobody was different. It was a girl or a boy. Ooh, it's cute, whatever. We didn't care about any of that. So it was really hard when I would go and see cousins and stuff, and they're talking about somebody, this, that, and the other was happening or whatever, and it had to do with race. And I'm like, I don't understand. Well, why? Why don't they like them? I didn't understand it because I had no exposure to that stuff. So it's hard when I see other people that hate someone simply because of their skin color, stuff like that. I just have a hard time understanding it. Even though I try, I just wish more people could grow up and not see that, because a child plays with another child. They don't even, they might touch their skin and look at it, but they don't stop playing with them. It's because they don't see it as a barrier of connection. You see what I mean? It's us that do it. It's the adults that implement that onto children. And there's so many things that we do to our kids that we've scarred them for generations simply because of those things. And I was so lucky. I had such wonderful parents, and I was a tomboy because whenever my dad came, boy, I wanted to be every minute with my dad and learn how to use tools and go hunting, learn how to use guns and go fishing and learn how to skin fish and, catch rabbits and do all those things, all the things that my dad did basically when he would go do jungle survival stuff. I wanted him to teach it to me. So, and he didn't have any sons. So, he had 5 daughters. So I was the only son he ever got.
Those are great survivalistic skills that should be taught to all the young.
Well, yeah, it should. A lot of things should be taught to our kids. And I want to get back to that. That's what I was talking about. Not just what you were thinking, I think you thought I was thinking, but we need to teach kids how to live on their own, sewing, cooking, cleaning, all those things, so that when they leave home, they can do it themselves instead of, going, I can't balance my checkbook. I don't know what I'm supposed to use. What am I supposed to cook?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of that stuff started getting removed from schools. And I've talked about that too. When my daughter graduated, just so many years ago, it seemed like it was yesterday. It was maybe about, 6-7 years ago, I think now, when she graduated, and they had still courses in her high school right before that last semester when they started removing everything. So like practical skills that you would learn in high school and everything to kind of prepare you for the real world. And they just started removing all that shit, and they started putting useless shit in there like they always do. And how's that really preparing them for the real world when they get out there? It doesn't.
That's why I really believe that has a lot to do with why we're at now. Nobody can take care of themselves. That half the people are having trouble being able to balance how much money they goes in and how much goes out. all these different things they can't seem to get the puzzle pieces to fit simply because they had no direction. They didn't have a parent like my dad. He said, not one of you girls is leaving this house or getting a driver's license and driving any of my cars if you can't change a tire. Because if you're out in the rural area and you get a flat, you're going to get eaten by a bear or kidnapped or lost in the woods because you're trying to find somebody.
There's an argument that all the systems are the same and should be validated and have the same strengths. No, it's been proven out through time, and this needs to be smacked down, that not all the communist way of thinking has never worked, and that there is validation in capitalism, and what we've seen time and time again when we were giving nation with our charity, and every American should know how much over the past century, let's say, that we've actually given out to other countries to help them in times of needs, after tsunamis, after tornadoes, whatever it may be, right? We are a giving nation. This works. We need to have not only this USA attitude and wave the flag, but actually have some meat on the bone and be able to defend our position of why we are so great. And we don't, we have not taught that and we need to start teaching that, and to give equal validity to some of these weak ass arguments that are out there, and weak ass philosophies and ways of living are like the Somalis. They will do what we say. Really? The average IQ is like maybe about 60. I think we established that, in testing, whatever, last week, right? So why are we listening to all these dumbasses? I
don't know. I don't know why we're listening to any of them. That's why I say you don't have to listen to me. Just listen to the news, go and look into it and find out what's going on. But if you change the channel because you don't want to hear any of it, you're part of the problem, because you don't want to know what's bad or what's going on, because there's some good things happening out there too.
Does it seem like to you that we're sliding back to a more barbaric, violent time? It does to me. When things are more unstable, people don't know what to believe, and when we get to that point, things aren't good.
Yes, some areas, yes, and you're going to have that. Anywhere you have people on top of people on top of people, okay? When you have, like in New Orleans, okay, you live in an apartment building in New Orleans, and all the bottom got flooded out. You had gators and snakes and rats, and it reeks like urine and vomit. It's just nasty, and you got mold growing up into the walls from the bottom being filled with water, and all these people, no power, and everybody wants food and stuff. So what are they going to do if you got one bad guy in that whole thing? He's going to start strong arming the older people and people that are weaker people and taking what they have. Okay. Now, if nobody around does anything and they see the guy just taking and beating people up and stealing from them, and we do nothing, then we might as well have stole from them. That's how I look. That's how my mother would have told me. So what we do is we get a few other people together. We go over there and say, if you go to another person, you're going to be sorry that you did. We're going to tie you up, lock you up, or whatever. We're going to do something. We're going to defend ourselves. If we have to break both your legs and leave you there until the help can come help you, or whatever, you have to defend yourself and protect the people that can't protect themselves, which are the elderly and children. And if you can't do that, because I can tell you right now, Moses would have done that. He wouldn't let somebody come and take all his people's food. He would have fought for them. And that's what we need to get back to. We need to start helping our neighbor, be there for each other. And because one day you're going to need help. And if you did nothing to help anyone around you, why would any of those people walking by want to help you? See? People need to start thinking about those things, because it could be you one day. You could be trapped in a car that's burning and you're stuck because your seatbelt won't be undone or whatever. And if you were a bitch to everybody, saying fuck you to everyone, constantly, that they're all fuckers, they're not worthy, I hate you and all that constantly, that the people are just going to walk by, and it's bad enough in our society that people already do that because they're raised by parents that do that to other people in front of their kids. So I don't know how we're going to do it. I just know that we need to start doing it. And if we start doing something, things will eventually change. Okay. But I'm telling you right now, many people fought against evil for God. So all I know.
I mean, one person can make a difference, and don't ever think that one person can do it, even though we're in a system that tries to stamp out individual speech, right? And not the individual. We need to be corporate. It takes a village to raise all this to speak. And what about the one guy that defends and does the right thing, and it's just a pea patch? He stands against evil and he triumphs. It can be done.
Yeah, it can be done. I believe in the underdogs. Maybe that's one reason why God never put me into sports, because he knew I'd probably bet on it and I'd lose. So I just never was, one of those people to do that. But this was another thing I thought was really interesting because of things that are happening. It's like I'm trying to tell people, things are happening every single day. But just because you hadn't heard it yet doesn't mean nothing's happening. Okay. Just because it isn't exactly what you think he should be doing right now doesn't mean nothing's happening. Okay. All of them are busy doing something. They're all doing something. I'm seeing stuff coming out each day. Homan, the shit that he's had to go through. God, I don't know how any of these people.
You've already seen you've already seen in less than 1 year of service, you've seen more going on in all the branches, even with all of his appointments, most of his appointments not even appointed, because they're backing that up. It's constipation within the government, as usual, on purpose.
Yep.
And you've already seen that more than what Biden did in 4 years.
Mm-hmm. I know. That's how I feel. But I'm more patient than other people, I guess. I sometimes I'm impatient, I feel, but I guess I'm not as impatient as most people, because I'm telling you, I have never seen so many people bitching and moaning. They're not doing anything. They're not arresting people. And I go, they arrested Comey and look what happened. I don't want Hillary and everyone else that they arrest to just get up that and nothing happens, because we didn't wait until we had the right judges in place, and we didn't wait till we had this in place or that in place or whatever.
I'm not optimistic that these people will go to jail, but it needs to happen for the nation to start the healing process.
Yeah, but I honestly believe that if we don't see somebody starting to be arrested and going through the process, we're not going to win what we need in 2026.
I know.
I really do believe that. So that's why I'm wanting to see something happen.
Got about a year to make it happen.
Get off their damn ass and get some judges in there and start cleaning up our courts. Because if we don't, we're lost without our law. Because remember, our government is made of laws, right?
The left has known for a while that if we can't do it by legislation, we'll do it by the judicial, which is supposed to be the weakest branch in the 3-branch system that we have,
Mm-hmm.
And that needs to change, definitely.
Yeah, is wrong. But I wanted you guys to hear this because it's right from Trump, and they can't twist what Trump says. If you hear it yourself.
Today, we lost Tommy. Hopefully he'll come back.
Americans from the scourge of deadly fentanyl flooding into our country. With this historic executive order I will sign today, we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, which is what it is. No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. Today
I'm thankful for this. Even though personally in my own life, I don't know a single person in real life that I've met that's died from fentanyl. But I have watched many documentaries and heard stories from other people that I am friends with that have lost people from fentanyl. I watched a documentary last spring. I don't know exactly the month, but it was in the spring because it was before a few other things that I remember happening. But what was so sad was it was two children in the back seat of a car, and we don't know how long they'd been there, but they were dying of thirst and they were sweating like crazy because it was really hot outside. And a police officer had pulled over the vehicle or pulled over because the vehicle was on the side of the road. Well, the door was open on the mother's side, and the mother was sitting in the car unconscious, and the dad was unconscious. We thought, but they ended up both being dead. They both died from fentanyl poisoning, and both their kids would have died if someone hadn't pulled over and was able to save them from the hot car. And the only reason it wasn't, I think the only reason the kids were alive is because the door was open on the mother's side of the car. I bawled my eyes out for those kids. It was horrible, heartbreaking. And I don't even know what happened to them. You know, I looked a little bit for, you know, a few months afterward, couldn't find anything, but it was heartbreaking to see that. It had nothing to do with me. It didn't affect me at all. But what I saw, what Trump just did with that, I think it's wonderful because
it's been weaponized
somebody
against us.
has to do something. And all I hear is bitching and moaning, the Epstein list and blah, blah, blah. You know,
well, you see a lot of pushback of ICE and people trying to do their jobs. And I'm sure that you never hear about it, but I'm sure the border and ICE has arrested people that had that stuff on them that was carrying it into, you know, so arrests need to be made, deporting people needs to be happening, criminality, you know, you know, we're gonna have people always slip through our fingers in the system, Janet. You can't get everybody, but certainly you can try.
I know that.
Certainly you can try.
People that seem to have no patience after waiting all this time through all these other administrations for the Epstein files, when all they had to do is get the one judge that was overseeing the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, and to him to unseal the documents. That's how easy it would be to find out everybody's names, find out everything they used to put her behind bars. They didn't get to put the other guy behind bars because he was dead. But the thing is, that's all they needed. They get everything they needed in a nice, neat package, and they could go through it and do whatever they wanted with it. But during all those other administrations, no peeps. It was crickets in the Democrat side, crickets on the Republican side, and crickets on the independents and the everyone else. Nobody said shit. But only since Trump has been in office, that's the one thing. Wow, I hear constantly. But now
it's just running interference for other stuff. You know, it's just here. Look over here. It's Epstein. Come on now. When that's been scrubbed clean basically to a certain degree, I mean, that's been out there.
Yeah, see, I don't know what they're going to do now that this stuff's being released. All they're going to bitch about is like, see, they redacted and they got rid of everything. They had Trump on it. Well, what do you think happened all the years that Obama and Biden and the Clintons were in the White House? Who do you think was scrubbing files then? I mean, look at Hillary. She had an illegal server in her bathroom and nothing happened. But
they had to return a lot of the furniture from the White House. You know, they just take what they want, you know. They were renting out rooms. They were renting out Lincoln rooms to that dignitary from China. You know, you can stay in the Lincoln room for so much money. I mean, it's about money and power with these people, you know, it's ridiculous.
And even the movie that came out, it was called Mena. Remember the drug running right out of Mena, Arkansas to Columbia that, you know, Tucker, Lieutenant Governor Tucker was involved in and stuff. A Whitewater scandal. I mean, they were nothing but criminals before they even went to the White House.
Yep.
So, you know, it's pathetic that people are so easily swayed by the pretty shiny thing in the distance. You know what I'm saying? It just drives me nuts. But this right here, I thought was important for us to listen to because I love this lady. I think this woman is so smart. and she's doing such a good job. And I can't wait to see some of the stuff that she's uncovered and sent forward for the next step to start unfolding, to start actually seeing stuff happen, because this woman has done her job. I see big things for her. I mean, this woman could run for president one day.
Or she could just disappear.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
She could.
I mean, some voices are like that, right? Just kind of.
But the thing is,
poisoned. How'd they get? Yeah.
I'm just happy
you have to speak out.
I'm happy to see people actually, doing their job. She got in there. She's been at work since day one, trying to do it. And I wanted to share what she had to say on this. So here we go. Let me make sure it's turned up.
Roll that footage.
Here are the undeniable facts. There are 25 to 30 U.S. funded biolabs in Ukraine. According to the U.S. government, these biolabs are conducting research on dangerous pathogens. Ukraine is in an active war zone with widespread bombing, artillery, and shelling, and these facilities, even in the best of circumstances, could easily be compromised and release these deadly pathogens. Now, like COVID, these pathogens know no borders. If they are inadvertently or purposely breached or compromised, they will quickly spread all throughout Europe, the United States, and the rest of the world, causing untold suffering and death. So in order to protect the American people, the people of Europe, the people around the world, these labs need to be shut down immediately, and the pathogens that they hold need to be destroyed. Instead of trying to cover this up, the Biden-Harris administration needs to work with Russia, Ukraine, NATO, the UN to immediately implement a ceasefire for all military action in the vicinity of these labs until they're secured and these pathogens are destroyed. In addition to all this, the US funds around 300 biolabs around the world who are engaging in dangerous research, including gain of function, similar to the lab in Wuhan.
Yeah. See, that's what a lot of people don't want to or talk about, is the fact that, remember, before all of that started, that Putin came out and said that the reason he went in the first place and went to certain specific areas were biolabs. And everybody said, oh, he's full of shit. He's full of shit. Well, it's because we had the labs there. Not you and I, but our government. Through the people that were finding out just all this corruption through, they had biolabs there with Chinese people working there, and stuff like that. This is all crazy. But if we don't do it the right way and get as much information out as we can, and don't prosecute these people and hold people accountable so that the people of the United States and other countries that might be involved know what happened and who was involved in it, how do we stop it from ever happening again? See what I mean? There's so much stuff. We're finding so much corruption. It's overwhelming. And I remember, I think it was Elon Musk that said, you guys are going to be shocked.
On the dose. But what have we been doing about it? I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it takes.
You can't do anything. There's no judges. We don't have enough judges to take this stuff to court yet, because we have a lame ass Congress that's not doing their job. So it all goes hand in hand. Trump, all his administration, they're getting stacks and stacks and stacks of evidence. But where do you send it when you have nothing but corrupt courts?
I don't know why this stuff isn't being leaked out to the media where, look, you have to get the public, we the people, behind it, kind of like during Watergate, where you're outside the White House or you're outside this courthouse or wherever, and you have to show a show of force that we the people want this. We want this cleaned up. We want this corruption exposed, no matter where it leads, You've got to get the American people engaged, and I don't see that happening yet. Well, I mean, in a good, positive way. For good,
but one reason you're not going to see it is because we have a Congress that hasn't replaced or fixed the Smith-Mundt Act. Because you got to remember, during Obama's administration, I don't remember what year it was.
But I'm saying, where's the protesters with the signs saying, well, change this, you know, the public pressure. You've got to have public pressure, Janet. You got to have public pressure or nothing's going to happen.
That's right. I know 100%. But I have one more thing. I've got a few other things, but since Tommy seemed to have to leave, he's probably having his back's probably bothering him. And I know Ruben has he's just not been doing well at all. But
it was a long Irish goodbye.
Yeah. But this, I think it's, this one right here. Here we go. I thought this was a pretty good one when it came across a time when I really enjoyed it. It says, this is how you kick off a news conference at the Department of Health and Human Services. So I wanted to play this for you. This is the difference between, I wish I had a video for before, during the Biden administration or Obama, and this guy. So here we go. Listen to this. But before I start, doesn't he look like Bob Newhart or somebody? I think that's the name of the guy that Mom used to watch.
Never looked that bad. I mean, you know, really? for these young people, you've already lost them in the first 3 seconds. It takes him how long here just to get ready to say something? Come on, you ought to be ready. Get up there to the podium and say something.
Men are men.
People look like they got some kind of bean stuck up their ass.
Men can never become women. Women are women. Women can never become men.
Okay, you've convinced me. Let's move on. Sure. Genius. Run this.
Children are innocent and they need our protection. It takes.
Basically, that was the opening of them talking about trying to get back to the idea that women can only be women and men can only be men. And it's just nice to actually have people in the government now that will come out in front of a crowd of people and actually say that, because of what we've been through. When we had groups of people at the White House parading around with boobs, with implants, but also a penis, and exposing their breasts and shit like that. So we've come a long way. We've come so far, even though it doesn't seem like it. We've got so much of a mess that we've got to fix. But you know what? I see the light now. You know, so I looked down and I said, "Oh, I see something good starting to happen," and I'm starting to like it. You know, I'm starting to say, "Okay, I just got to be a little patient." But if something doesn't happen before elections, I'm really going to be worried about where we're going from that. So. I'll start seeing the pitchforks and the torches coming out. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm hoping, please, let's see some good stuff. Let's start seeing some people getting arrested and, you know, taken before judges and doing all that stuff, and not like what happened with Comey, because that was just total. I don't know what happened. I still don't understand why nothing's happened. It just sits there and nothing's happening. But we've got to there's got to be one judge. We got to have one judge in this country, a federal judge somewhere that can take a case. I'm
sure we do, but it's not his venue, and they're not going to allow it to be in his venue. So
I know, and I just don't understand it. To me, it's all of this is just fucked up. It just pisses me off so bad. But do you want to tell anybody what's going on with your channel coming up this next week?
Coming up this next week, only one thing scheduled right now. I've been, I had a nice interview last night, late night interview with Godfo Universe. Talking about their new Kickstarter and Fund My Comic. And today we did Dave Stevens, comic book artist who came up with Rocketeer. You might know him from the Rocketeer movie. Great artist. Unfortunately, he's passed away several years now, but his estate is actively, with charities and all kinds of stuff on his behalf, set up in his name. So we talked about Dave Stevens and his artwork for about an hour today. Next week will be on the 26th. It'll be right after Christmas. Will be George Perez. Fortunately, if you don't know, I'm doing my own comic book. Our second one, did a little 24 pager a couple years ago, and this is my character on the icon here, Devil Flyer. It's not just about this character, although he's kind of my flagship character. It's about a whole universe, the Momentum universe, and we're in fulfillment now. We're getting stuff printed up. We've gotten just sent a file for the rest of the trading cards, except for one, the mail up, and they're not going to be printing that one. That one's going to be a full card for everybody who signed up and backed the book. And I've been working on the cards that I've gotten published, printed up, and everybody gets one of these as their with one of my characters for backing, and also gets a head sketch either in black and white or color. It'll be my choice. I pick from the best and leave the rest, and then there's all the stretch goals. So Devil Flyers over on Fund My Comic. Go check it out. There's a lot of other great things.
Can you share it in the chat so that people can?
I can. Well, I can put it in the private chat. I don't have a wrench. So,
yeah. Okay. Oh, you don't? Well,
no,
put something in there so I can give you one real quick.
Okay.
I thought you did. I figured I gave everybody one already. So let me do that real quick. How do I do it? What do I do?
You had to do a wrench. You had to go through YouTube, and then the three little dots.
On my YouTube. So give me 1 second. I'm going to do that while you're talking about the.
The three little dots there by my name, and then that'll bring up. You can check out the channel, and I always check out the channel of the person, and then usually grab that link and put that in the description for them, and then give them a wrench. Everybody that comes to my channel gets a wrench. Just about. If somebody's suspicious, I don't just confer that upon, but if they've got some content up, or even if they don't have content, but they've been around and other people vouch for them, I'll give them a wrench. But most of the time, that's how I identify people.
I'm trying to find you in my chat on here.
Yep. Well, last comment. Yeah, last comment there.
Well, that's not in my channel, though. That's on a different channel, so it's not.
Yeah, that's Twitch, but right above it in your chat is the same comment, because it gives you Twitch.
I'm looking at it right now, and I don't see it. I'm looking at it on my phone in my YouTube.
You don't see right above this comment that you have highlighted in Twitch?
No.
Okay.
That's not there.
I'll give another one. There we go.
I'm gonna take a picture so I can show you, because I don't have it. There's nothing. There's nothing on there. I don't understand it. Even up there, I don't see it.
You had to give wrenches out. You had to go through YouTube and the three little dots, and then bring that up, and then you can make them a moderator from there.
Well, that's
but
weird.
You have to go through YouTube.
It's not working. But okay, well, I'll share it. Put it in the private chat, and I'll share it for everybody so that everybody can check up on it, because his comic book is really, really cool. He's got some really cool characters. My favorite one is the swamp looking monster. I don't know his name.
Bog,
yeah, Bog.
I recently
I really like that.
Did a homage cover to Hulk 105 there with using Bog. Did that completely colored. That'll be in the art book.
It reminded me a lot of Louisiana. I don't know why.
That was going to be before. I talked to a friend. Do you want to do a book together and finally get it published? And he said, yeah. We've been friends for about 45 years almost. And so that's how Devil Flyer was a new character. And that's how that came about, that I created at the time, and I pitched different ideas for about 8 months to him. And I said, well, I really want to get something going. And I said, do you want to still do that? Because he said yes to one idea, and that was Devil Flyer. So I got a story to him, and the rest is history. And but now, personally, what I was going to draw, ink, color, whatever was going to be bog. So I've been doing 10 years of bog, and in the art book, we've got 10-year visual history of bog. So yeah, bog's kind of my main character that I draw, but now I've created hundreds of other characters too over the last few decades, since probably the 1970s, since I was a kid, because it's what I've wanted to do. And through crowdfunding and through YouTube, this is the way we're kind of going about it and doing it, so we're getting everybody's fan club card, their charter member cards already printed up, and other cards of the campaign. And here pretty soon, the rest of them are going to be out, be printed up.
I wanted to show you something in the chat. See, he says it's not here, Rex. He's in my chat on my phone. I can see it in my YouTube because I can't do it on the chat in StreamYard. But he says he can't see it either. And he asked me to give him a wrench, and look, now he has a wrench because I can do it on him because he's in my chat. You're not in there. So I don't know why you're not in there.
It looks like I could make a comment here but now maybe I need to go.
Your comment here because you're on Twitch, and all the different connected things will come up so I can highlight them. See, like this, but I can't put a wrench on it because it's in StreamYard. See what I mean? That's all I'm trying to say. But I would definitely give you one if I could.
All right. Well, let me go to my channel, or I wonder if
or just go to my YouTube and post something.
Your YouTube, which should be already brought up, but it's not.
Yeah. But what I wanted to say is tomorrow, hopefully I'll be playing a game, one of our big game, the one where I have a lion or a tiger and a little gnome that makes things for me as I play, our Pathfinder game with Bruce and Chris and all the other players, because Bruce is in the transition of moving. So we'll see if we're going to play the game tomorrow. And then Sunday, because of the death of Rob Reiner, we were going to do the movie The Princess Bride. So what we'll do at 12:30, we will start watching The Princess Bride in my Discord. And after we watch it, then we'll discuss it a little bit. And then Bruce and I will go live, and then we'll be able to do our review. So that's what our plans are, is from for what's going on. And then as far as I know, I won't be doing anything until Tuesday, and I'll be doing something just for my Patreon members. I don't know whether I'm going to do some more music videos or if I want to do some strange stuff, because I found some really creepy stuff, and I might do a late night circus. So we'll see. But that's all I got planned going on right now until the next Thursday and Friday for the shows that I'm going to have, for the after hours, and then the Friday night shit show again.
Yeah, we'll have a show next Friday, right?
Yes, and I will send it to you. It worked out on your Instagram, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, I said okay, because you're still you're not able to get messages and stuff on X yet. They haven't.
No, and I don't know how long it's going to take me to get there. To get that.
No,
fixed.
It's so weird. Everyone's been having problems. And another thing is, I'm seeing stuff on my X from people I don't have a clue who they are. Just random people's stuff. When I need stuff like this from people I want to follow, you see what I mean? To come down my timeline so I can get the information I need to share in my chats. But I'm not getting all the people. And they'll say, well, how come you didn't share my deal? And I go, I didn't see it. So they have to send it to me in a DM, and then I'll share it on my timeline. It's like, I don't know what's going on. It's like X is forcing us to have to read everybody else's crap that we don't want. When I signed up to follow certain people, and then to get what they post, because I like what they're posting. I want to see stuff about comic books, about Comic-Cons and stuff like that. And I'm not seeing all that. I'm seeing a bunch of bullshit from California and other things that I have no interest in. So I don't understand that. And I have been muting a bunch of those people. So hopefully all their stuff won't keep coming across my timeline, but it's getting very aggravating. But so far, I still haven't seen anything in my chat on my YouTube.
Okay,
yet.
well, I'm trying. It flashed you up. I'm actually on another browser here. I'm trying to find your live, because when I look at my subscriptions and under live, you're not under there, which you should be.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's weird. But I'm trying to find this other article real quick so I can go ahead and bring that up. I thought I had another one. Okay, yeah, here it is. This is one of the cases that I wanted to share. Well, this will be my last one.
See, I clicked on live and I don't even see live, even though I saw it before I clicked on live.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's weird. A lot of this stuff has been bizarre. But this came across my timeline, and I thought it was important because poor Tina Peters has been in jail, all the January 6ers and everything. And I thought that Trump was giving her a pardon or something. So I don't understand why she's still in jail. But it says that a federal judge rules Tina Peters must stay in prison while appealing her case. Since that ruling, that decision, Tina Peters has been attacked, a woman that never belonged there, facing violence. So I wanted to share that real quick, and I got it turned up, and I'm going to play it.
Earlier this week, a federal judge ruled, listen to this, that Tina Peters, a 72-year-old Gold Star mother, must stay in prison while she appeals her case. And since that ruling, inside that prison, Tina Peters has been attacked. And I don't mean attacked just in one way, but in multiple ways, multiple times. The latest, just this week, a woman who never belonged there, now facing violence because she dared to tell the truth. I'm not just telling this story, I'm a part of this fight. I was asked to help Tina, and I said yes. And because of that, Peter Tickton came on. He's the lead counsel on this case. You know him well. He comes on our show regularly because he's in the fight, and I'm honored to be shoulder to shoulder with such a great man. The American Rights Alliance took this on with their legal team because this is a persecution and the American people know it. This is the blueprint. This is what it looks like in real time, folks. And it doesn't stop with Tina. We have to understand the same pattern, the same tactics, the same federal playbook shows up in Arkansas. Former state lawmaker John Woods was run through the ringer with every step of the blueprint, Arctic frost, etc. It's all here. You heard it in the news, but this is what Jack Smith's office, and this is what the individuals there, the judges, they destroyed it. It doesn't fit, but we want to lock in a sentence, call it a conviction, and say a jury of their peers. More than 40 missing records, a laptop the FBI wiped after a court order to turn over the evidence. The facts the jury never heard, in an 18-year sentence that should have never stood. This isn't coincidence. This is a system. This is the blueprint at work.
Yeah, that's terrible, isn't it? That people are getting away with that. And just like I said, until we can clean the court up and get rid of the lawfare that's been going on against Trump and anybody that supported Trump to help him become president, how are we supposed to get fair trials against the people that caused the lawfare in the first place? And that's what's so frustrating, is that we are stuck there. We are stuck there because for some reason we have a lame ass people in Congress. None of them are trying to do what we voted Trump in to do. And I remember most of these people running and saying, oh, we're going to get rid of Obamacare. That's why they ran. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And they're not doing shit. So we gotta ride these people's ass and get them off their ass and get our judges in there, fix our courts, make it more conservative to where at least a person has a fighting chance with actual the law being practiced in a court instead of their point of view. I definitely do not want to go before a judge that when I ask her, what is a woman? And she's like, well, I can't really define it. It's bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want her to be my judge. I would say I demand a different judge. This person can't even say that I'm a fucking woman. it's sickening. I mean, it really pisses me off, and I don't want any of our cases to be lost simply because we have lame ass judge in there that doesn't believe in due process or any of this stuff, because they don't believe in law apparently, at least not the laws that are on the books, the way things are supposed to be done. So I don't know. I don't know what we can do differently than that until we can clean that up and get the fresh names in there. Because remember, Trump said that while you guys are shut down and you don't show up for work, that's when I'm going to start putting these judges in. And what did our Congress do that's supposed to be on our side? Every 3 days, they went in there and knocked the gavel so that they could get what they wanted and stop Trump from being able to appoint the judges he wanted. So why would they do that? See, that's what I'm saying. Something's not right with the people that we have in there right now. And it's not just Massey. It's other dumb bucks that don't want to do their job that they're making a good paycheck for. And they got back pay. Yeah. So I don't know. To me, it pisses me off that we can't start processing these people that we already have shit tons of evidence for, simply because we have corrupt judges. And until we can get some good judges in there, I don't see how we're going to be able to prosecute any of these people, any good cases that actually will make a difference. So I don't know. I just don't know what to say about it. But that I've pretty much brought up everything that I had to talk about tonight. Is there anything you would like to say before we close up, Rex? No. Well, I gave you the wrench that you asked for, so now you have that. And I guess hopefully it'll help. We'll be able to do some more things, because like last night when I had that a-hole in my chat and I wasn't even seeing what they were writing because I was on another page trying to get stuff to work. And when I came back, I blocked them. And, one of my wrenches felt really bad. She was trying to apologize to me. And I was like, it's okay. I understand. People have jobs and she works nights and whatever. So, but the thing is, I want you guys to have a great weekend. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday and Sunday, and get to, relax a lot and get excited, maybe go shopping for more Christmas gifts or whatever else. But I want to say thanks again, Rex. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to answer Hardwick's question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is Devil Flyer's head fin inspired by the Rocketeer? It might be subconsciously in there. I was a big Rocketeer fan since the 80s, but actually it's from Yondu, the archer in the original. And we got to kind of see a weak suck Yondu in the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie that had it.
Yeah.
But in the comics, yeah, that's kind of where I took that from. And actually, I have like an Aquaman type underwater character. He's green, but from 1993, Sea Demon. And he has that same fin. And I didn't really have any artwork, didn't know if I was going to be able. And then in the process of going through with the artist through some of his old portfolios, because a couple pieces were lost almost. They're on two characters that he created around that time when I created Sea Demon, who was going to be my main character at one time in the early 90s, and that I led off with. He's got those still preserved on. I had a fire that burned up, but now he was going to put some text on that original watercolor page, and it was in his portfolio, thank God. So that character's alive and well, and in fact, I've got a picture of him right here, as a matter of fact, all beat up and whatnot. But yeah, this is my Sea Demon character from 1993, and he survived the fire in that one piece, and the other two are on slides. So we'll have to take those slides and have those blown up and printed off, and then but the originals sadly were turned to ash. And had I not took my character back to him and said, could you put some text in there, a little write-up, and letter it for me, that one would have been lost too. So it was in his portfolio for a long time. And he found it while we were kind of going through some of his old stuff and gave it to me. But yeah, I was actually the Guardian of the Galaxy Archer at inspiration for the film.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I have quite a few of their comics, which are pretty good. And see, that was one of the things that I was. When I bought comics, I would see the cover and go, wow, this looks real exciting. And if it was a series and it said on there that, you know, this is 1 of 6 or, you know, 1 of 4, I would keep coming back until I got all 4 of them before I'd even start reading it, because I hated getting stuck with 2 comic books out of 4. And I'm like, fuck, I'm never going to see the ending. You know, I hated that. So I would not read them. I leave them in the package and everything until I got to have all 4. Yeah. But thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight, and everyone in the chat. So, yeah, I like to get this off my chest because I like to, this is like my therapy, basically, as you can tell, I think. But I'll be in a better mood all weekend because of it. So it does help.
Yeah.
But
I'd hate to be around her Christmas table, huh, folks?
Yeah, it's going to be terrible. But no, I'm kidding. It won't be.
Thanks, Tommy, and the others that came in earlier.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I'm sure he just, you know, his power was out last week. So this week, you know, his back was hurting a little bit, but Ruben has been like going up and down. Yeah. So he's been out of the hospital and stuff, but you know, it's okay. You know, I don't mind talking, you know, if anyone wants to sit and listen to me, I could talk about anything, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. Pretty much me too. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's something to do with Arkansas. I don't know. No,
maybe it's in the water. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just want to say thank you, everyone, one more time. And I hope you love the outro because it's very Christmassy. And you guys have a wonderful weekend. And take care. Bye.
Okay, so I came to Walmart today just to see if this was real. See this? Do you see this big box of like cookie things? These? And it says, product of India. Product of India, right there. I don't think you're ready for this. I don't think you're ready for this.
tuyas a tu tienda favorita. Ross, Burlington, Target, Safeway, entre otras. Okay, so I came to